Welcome to TAVIE in Motion. My name is Diane. I am a retired nurse and I will be guiding you through this session. You are grieving the loss of your loved one who had Parkinson's disease. As a care partner, you accompanied and supported your loved one perhaps for many long years. Today, you have to continue your journey in life without your loved one. How will you come to terms with your loss? How will you take care of yourself? And how can you be supported during this particular process? This is what we will look at over the course of this session. Your grief is tinted by moments that marked the course of your loved one's disease, but other factors too define its color. These include the type of bond and the quality of relationship you had with your loved one, the duration and intensity of the caregiving period, the legal and financial aspects. Consequently, everyone experiences grief with an intensity and for a length of time of their own, and each person deals with it as best as they can. A number of people mourning the loss of a loved one have shared their experiences with researchers. Their stories highlight that these experiences can be supportive, while others rather harmful. What characterizes a supportive experience? Having the impression of having done the best you could. Realizing that you enjoyed open and honest communication with your loved one. Having developed resilience, the ability to bounce back. Having had the chance to say goodbye to your loved one. Does this apply to you? If not, yours may be a harmful experience. This may be the case if you still feel a heavy burden after the caregiving period of your loved one's death. You received little support from family or health professionals. Your relations with family and friends are strained. And you realize that you have become isolated over time. Let's take a look at the nuanced experiences of Lina and Rachel.
My spouse passed away 8 months ago in a long-term care facility after I cared for him at home for 20 years. We had no children and practically no contact with family or other people. He was rarely happy about anything I did for him. We fought a lot. Despite everything, I think that I still did all that I could.
My mother had Parkinson's, but also plenty of other health issues. I took care of her for years while holding down a job. Fortunately, I was able to count on my spouse, who was also a care partner. It's been a year since my mother passed away, and I still feel worn out.
The circumstances surrounding your loved one's death leave an imprint on your grief as well. Did your loved one die a natural death? A sudden death? Did they request medical assistance in dying? Whether the death was expected, sudden or planned, the moment of death always comes as a surprise, even when you know it is coming. Sudden death, however, adds a particular shade to grief because the brutality of the loss renders the grieving process more difficult. Let's hear what Romeo and Danielle had to say about this.
My wife passed away in palliative care 2 months ago. She was 55. Too soon, no? the love of my life. When she was diagnosed with Parkinson's, the kids were still teens. She was such a strong person, a pillar for our family. We went through so much together. It's not easy right now. A huge void.
I lost my son 10 months ago. He was 60 years old. Such a terrible thing to lose a child. In his teens, he developed a bowel condition. Then, on top of that, he came down with Parkinson's when he was in his 40s. Over the years, it just got worse in spite of all the treatments. What can I say? His Parkinson's kept progressing. It was just too much. He asked for medical assistance in dying. It pained me, but I understood. It would end his suffering, and it gave him a sense of control over his life.
To sum up, what makes your grief unique is the color given to it by these three things: your experience as a care partner, the care context, and the circumstances surrounding your loved one's death. Let's look now at how you can come to terms with your loss. Although each person can experience grief differently, this process revolves around three pivotal moments. Before, the attachment tie with your loved one allowed organizing your life around this anchor. When death occurs, there is a tearing away. Your life becomes disorganized. You feel the need to maintain contact with your loved ones and to fill the void. Then, bit by bit, you try to adapt. You come to terms with the fact of living differently with your loss. This work of detachment, of reconstruction of the self, and of transformation takes time. To help you down this path, I invite you to acknowledge the emotions that you feel. The announcement of the death of your loved one causes a shock. You are overcome by numbness. The time-space continuum is shattered. This can last a few hours or a few days. It's normal. A defense mechanism has kicked in. It's a question of survival. After the shock, acute grief surfaces. You feel dismay related to the absence of your loved one, along with sadness and nostalgia, among other things. Then comes the pain of separation. Loneliness, injustice, guilt, and perhaps moments of gratitude alternate on a loop. You lose your bearings and realize that nothing will be the same as before. You are swept up by a floating sensation. Then, you start moving again. You wander in search of meaning. You slowly grow aware that your loss is permanent. This makes it possible to invest more of your energy in the present and in new projects. You will then start feeling more and more appeasement. This is how you slowly begin a new chapter in your life as a bereaved person. Let's see how Romeo and Lena manage this process.
Where am I at right now? After all the paperwork of the past month, it's like a puzzle with all the pieces spread out in front of me. Do I feel like picking them up? No, not really. For me, it's a time of infinite sorrow. I miss her. I sometimes still set a place for her at the table when it's time to eat. It's her birthday today. It's even harder.
After the funeral, I found myself alone. I thought the grieving would be easier because my husband and I, Well, we fought almost all the time. But no, it wasn't any easier. I was really depressed. I couldn't see clearly. It was like having a veil in front of my eyes. Recently, the long-term care facility invited the people who lost a loved one this past year to attend a commemorative event. I hesitated at first, but I ended up going. It did me a world of good. I wasn't alone anymore.
To learn more about the stages of grief and to keep coming to terms with it, check out and print, if need be, the fact sheet, suggested readings on grief. There are strategies to help you deal with the loss of your loved one. To meet you where you are at, I will present a few of these strategies which have come out of exchanges with bereaved persons and research. The need to talk about your experience is very real, and it is perhaps necessary for you to tell your story many times over. This repetition serves to reduce the pressure of difficult memories and helps to process the loss of your loved one. As someone who has lost a loved one, your daily life is disrupted by waves of different intensity. You are trying to adjust in your tasks, including the management of your finances, which has suddenly become much more complicated. Why not turn to a resource person for help? These changes have also upset your lifestyle habits and your basic needs, such as eating, sleeping, going for walks, and socializing with people who bring you comfort. I encourage you to resume these activities little by little. They will help you preserve your health and regain a certain quality of life. Let's see how Lina managed to adapt to the changes in her daily life.
These days, I'm taking more time to prepare meals and to rest when I'm tired. With time, the veil is lifting bit by bit. I'm seeing clearer. I don't feel guilty anymore. I have to say that I'm taking better care of myself, and I accept myself today as I am. My friends from the grief support group and the professionals have had a lot to do with this. I'm confident I'll eventually pull through.
There is no denying that your role has changed from being a care partner to being a survivor following your loved one's death. You have strengths, limitations, and needs to meet. To respect these, you should seek to manage your energy wisely. For example, break a task up into fragments instead of doing all of it at once. Learn to distinguish good stress that drives you to action from bad stress that wears you down. Also, make sure to make time for yourself, to enjoy some me time. People around you may be tempted to pressure you to speed up your grief process. Point out to them that grief is not a matter of time. It is a matter of redefining major ties. You have to go about this at your own pace. Strained relations with your loved one or members of your social network and the presence of psychological, verbal, or other violence in the past can undermine your present and future quality of life. Unresolved conflicts guilt, resentment, and a fusional relationship with your loved one can aggravate your grief. Same goes if you were excluded or absent at time of death or at the funeral rites. Clearly, post-death rites have changed over time. In some families, everyone's on their own. It's each for themselves. In others, the points of reference are more medical or less religious and spiritual. Sometimes, there are no rites at all. Whatever your case, I encourage you to identify the rites that will help you channel your emotions positively, to shed a different light on the importance of managing the various emotions you might feel, and thus prevent complicated grief. Let's take the analogy of a chest of drawers that can be locked by key. If the drawers are locked and the key is lost, it will take energy to build up the motivation to find the key and to want to unlock the drawers. If the drawers remain locked, we refer to this as blocked grief. Some bereaved persons may not even want to find the key. In this case, they do not acknowledge the loss or the emotions related to it. They can therefore move on to other things without feeling their emotions. However, when least expected, those emotions can surface and even have a deep impact on their physical and mental health. We refer to this as delayed grief. If the drawers are all wide open, things in one drawer can easily spill over into another and the whole thing can become a mess. It will take energy to sort things out, put them back where they belong, and then shut the drawers. We refer to this as prolonged grief, which could become chronic. In this case, feelings of depression may emerge and lead to rumination and even suicidal thoughts. Being able to open and close the drawers of the chest whenever you want and being able to sort and put away things at one's own pace makes it easier to open and close drawers when needed. This is what we refer to as uncomplicated grief. People in this situation can do things at their own pace, let go of what is no longer there, and reorganize their lives. You don't have to sink into a situation of complicated grief. There are resources that you can use to prevent that. These include psychologists, social workers, therapists, and mental health nurse practitioners. If you need immediate support or if you need to call a helpline, check out and print, if need be, the fact sheet, immediate support, and helplines. Your toolbox contains skills that have already served to meet challenges in the past. These skills can again help you in new situations. If necessary, consider tweaking them in order to deal with the challenges following your loved one's death. In this regard, allow me to propose more strategies. Open up to yourself. This involves, above all, being kind to yourself and accepting yourself the way you are. Open up to others. To preserve and create good ties, it is beneficial to ask for and accept help from significant family members and friends, or to turn to health professionals for support. Accepting to be consoled by others is not always easy. You can also choose to exchange support with other bereaved persons. to share your life experience with others who have gone through the same situation. That is, to join a support group. Some people also choose to get involved with people caring for a loved one. Open up to life. After going through a dark spell, you begin to see the light break on the horizon. You begin to want to get back into the things you like doing. Romeo, Rachel, and Danielle shared what opening up to yourself, to others, and to life meant for them.
Quite often, I realize that my emotions are still pretty raw. Like when things don't go as planned or when they get complicated. But at times I catch myself feeling grateful for having lived with such a wonderful woman. Grateful to all those who were present during our journey and at the end of it. Slowly, I'm beginning to put the pieces of the puzzle back in place.
One day, the therapist I was seeing asked me, "What do you want for yourself now, after all these years of being a care partner?" I had no idea. I'd been on automatic pilot for so many years. I still don't know exactly what it is that I want for myself, but I do know what I don't want anymore. It's a start. When I go for a walk outside, I'm fully mindful of what I'm seeing, hearing, and smelling. I take it in. I'm enjoying life, and I'm starting to marvel again at the little joys it brings me.
Since my son passed away, I've been torn between a sense of relief that he's no longer suffering and a sense of having been abandoned. When I'm feeling gloomy, I try to make the most of the nice moments with my daughter, my son-in-law, and the grandchildren. They're the reason I can't just let myself go. I'm learning to be at peace with my son's decision to choose when to go, with medical assistance in dying.
If you wish to explore additional resources, check out and print, if need be, the fact sheet, strategies, and resources to support your grief after caregiving. I hope this session made you realize that your unique trajectory deserves personalized interventions to ease your grief. Because this trajectory does not follow a straight line, your emotional state may keep fluctuating between pain over your loss and the need to heal and get better. To do so, please keep in mind the 3 key strategies of this session. Namely, open up to yourself so as to treat yourself with kindness and compassion while proactively processing your grief. Open up to others so as to seek out and accept meaningful support, if needed, and to do so with the utmost humility. Open up to life so as to retain the hope of reconnecting with your life and to assign your own meaning to the grief you feel over the loss of your loved one. Now that you have completed this session and done the recommended reading, I invite you to take a step back. This will make it easier for you to determine what your priorities are. Are there any changes you would like to make to improve your well-being following the loss of your loved one? How and when might you go about this? And what are the things you might do that seem most promising? If your attempts at coping do not bear fruit, do not hesitate to seek help from the community and professional resources specializing in grief support available in your area. Grief is part of life, but it doesn't mean that you have to overcome it all alone. Allow yourself to be helped. just as you so often helped your loved one. Take care of yourself.